So I don't know what time you might be watching this at home, but the three of us, we're recording this on Mardi Gras. Guys, you know what Mardi Gras means, right?
Fash! Fash, fash, fash! The Stampede!
I have literally no idea. None whatsoever.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the Lenten season a little bit early by talking about the latest episode of Trigun Stampede, season 1. We're assuming of more seasons, episode 7. And the first thing I got to ask you guys to get us started is why was it so fun to watch the bad lads pose for pictures?
That is one of my new favorite things. It's I don't know. They're beautiful to look at, flashy. Maybe they're not so bad as they make themselves out to be. I don't know, but I loved it.
They really made it seem like it's just a job. You know, it's like it's nothing
Right?
personal. We're just here to do our job. You want to take a picture of us at work? Go ahead. You know, they didn't have any beef with Meryl. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I just was like, what's happening? Like, I was just like, that was not what I expected, you know? Like, I was not expecting, glamour shots of the bad lads. That's not what I was thinking was going to happen. But hey, it was a fun part.
I know. Like I said, it made it all seem like it was all in a day's work. Maybe that's why I like it, because it just seems so like human and just going about their business.
I didn't even mind not getting Brilliant Dynamite's neon. I loved it so much.
Now, here's a question for you, Matthew, because I think I saw you post something on Twitter that suggests maybe you spotted Chapel in the background of one of the scenes this episode. Is that right?
Correct. And that wonderful flashback of Livio being told that he's a killer and him standing in front of a mirror. In that mirror, we saw reflected Chapel, who is the leader of the Eye of Michael, or was in the manga anyway, and a character called Razlo is also seen in the mirror.
I think that was a pretty good catch. I didn't catch it. Did you catch that at all, Chris?
Did not at all. None. Nope.
It took two viewings for me.
Cannot claim it.
That's the nice thing about having three of us, is, like between the three of us, well, honestly, I'll say between you two, you usually catch everything. Like, Chris, you caught the blue glow around the creations, from Millions Knives experiments, and then you catch Chapel in the background. I think you also caught Razlo, maybe a hint of him in one of the previous episodes too, right, Matthew? Or it was just because Livio that you were hoping for that?
Just because of Livio that I was hoping for that.
Okay. And the three of us, we usually catch everything. So great catch there. And like I said, when I say the three of us, it's mainly you two. And then I go back and rewatch it, and then I can say I saw it too. Now, I got to say, this episode, for some reason, it really sunk in that this version of Niccolo, Nicholas, and Vash, I think they make a really good team. Do you guys agree?
Always.
Yeah, I think so. They're the what's the word? Like the frenemies, basically. Like they're a perfect set of frenemies, is what they are. I think
a little bit of an odd couple, and it's like you've got both of them have a whole lot of power, but you've got Vash, who's the consciousness, the conscience, I should say, not the consciousness, but the conscience and the optimist. But then you've also got Nicholas there, who's the healthy bit of pessimism that you need to survive sometimes, and you can't always do the right thing in order to get the big picture right thing done. So I just like the balance between the two of them. It's really nice. A lot of superhero dynamic with those two. I just got to say.
I have to take back what I said earlier about them not having super strength. Apparently they do have super strength.
It looked like it to me. I mean, but what do I know?
I mean, not everybody can just push gigantic, enormous guns. I thought that's the normal thing, isn't it?
I mean, in the purest sense of physics, anybody can push anything, but you're not going to get anything accomplished if you're not super strong. But here's another question, Matthew. So you had pointed out so astutely before that Monev was based on a Marvel Comics character, Venom, and it's like Venom spelled backwards. Is there any chance that there might be like a Marvel character that's an influence on the Punisher?
I don't know, honestly.
I'm going to say yes, and that is D-Man. I'm gonna go
T-Man is
T-Man.
always the influence for everybody. Would you guys
Like,
rather have
yeah.
like the two small guns like Livio has, where you got like two of them, but they're smaller, or like the BFG gigantic cross gun like Nicholas has? Do you have a preference, Chris, on which
Oh,
one
I
you
go
want?
with Livio's guns every time. They're just, you know, like Wolfwood's. You know, you got one shot that you gotta make sure you keep your space, and then you gotta, you gotta maintain your space. Then you get another shot, you gotta maintain your space. If that guy's coming at you, and now the good thing is obviously you saw that he can. Well, I mean, he can just get shot because then he just pops his ampule and off he goes. But I think I'd want the small guns. Like a little
Yeah.
John Wick style. Like that's what little. I think I'd go with that.
Hey, you had me when you said John Wick. What do you say there, Matthew? Two small guns, one big gun.
I've loved the big gun since Doom.
The BFG, the original BFG.
Yeah. And I tell you, if the character shows up later that I hope will, then you're going to be like, huh.
Well, I gotta tell you,
Seem like a tiny thing.
I'm with Chris though on this one. I'd rather have the two-hand guns because I've always wanted, like, daydreamed about doing the action thing where you hold both arms out and like spin around while you're shooting the gun. Even
Yeah.
better if you're falling like upside down. So
You know,
yeah,
and technically he's got 4 of them.
that's true. Maybe even do like the thing they did on Boondock Saints, where they like spun around on a chandelier or something. They both had guns. So
Yeah.
if I can get somebody to join me, then we got 4 guns. That's even better. I mean, theoretically speaking, I don't want to hurt nobody, but it'd be fun to do in a video game or something. Paintballing.
Why did you have to put the image in my head of Roberto dressing up as a sexy woman to infiltrate?
Okay, hold on. That's gold. That's the storyline for the first movie, or the next movie. The first Trigun Stampede movie is going to be the time Roberto had to infiltrate the working girls' place, brothel or whatever they call it.
I think like if you take this even a step further, he actually infiltrates the Bad Lads hideout as a sexy dancing lady, and
And obviously still full facial hair, right?
yeah, still full facial hair, and they're all excited. They're all in their suits, all excited, and he's up like on a stage, and then something goes from there. That's all I got. But I think up to that point, I'm in.
Have either of you guys seen the classic movie Some Like It Hot?
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Because I'm picturing the ending of Some Like It Hot as the ending of that arc with Roberto De Niro, and I don't know. Is it okay to spoil Some Like It Hot on our review of Trigun Stampede?
Spoil like a 60-year-old movie? Yeah, I think you're
It's
good.
like 80-year-old now.
Is it even that?
1959.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie about some guys who have to disguise themselves as women. I'll try to be broad with it, but
No pun intended.
at the
Tony,
end,
it's Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, right? Am I right?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the
Yeah.
end, there's this person giving so much unwanted attention to one of them that he finally says, "I'm a man." And he goes, "Nobody's perfect." And it's not a deal breaker. So that's all we need at the end with Roberto De Niro.
No,
Yeah.
but hey, I just thought of another part. That's how you introduce Millie. Because
That would be
he's up dancing, and all of a sudden pulls off the costume, and it's Millie, like out of nowhere. And then she's got her big gun, and she just starts blasting the Bad Lads. There you go.
Oh, that would be perfect. Like,
This whole time you thought it was Roberto De Niro, but it's been Millie the whole time.
Doing a little Mission Impossible.
style.
yeah, exactly.
It was Millie the whole time. I'm all for it, guys. You have won me over. Why don't you guys just move to Tokyo and start writing this show for me, okay? We'll take up a GoFundMe or something to buy you guys one-way tickets.
Oh.
You got to earn enough to get your way back home. Do either of you have like fond memories of Zippo lighters?
No.
See, my grandparents, my grandfather always had Zippo lighters, my uncles, great uncles. So, like, I always think of like the men who were like that World War II era age
Mm.
whenever I see Zippo lighters and like the smell of them. I've still got a couple around that don't really, I mean, I guess they'd work if I put a new flint or fuel or whatever, but I just keep them. I don't use them, but I just got lots of fond memories. Like a Zippo lighter is one of those first cool, like family heirloom type things. And you can even get them engraved to say F communism, if you're Jesse Custer. So his famous
That is true.
I
Zippo
have
lighter.
always
So I
thought
was
they were
just
cool.
curious.
So
But this whole flashback and the significance of that Zippo lighter with Nicholas and with Livio, that really kind of struck home to me because I guess I just kind of grew up in a time and place where Zippo lighters did sort of have that generational significance and some kind of like male bonding with little kids and their grandpas and stuff. Probably the first thing I ever burned myself with was my grandpa's Zippo lighter. Do either of you have a Zippo lighter now?
No.
Never too
I
late
don't
to
think I've
invest.
ever actually owned a Zippo lighter at all in my life.
Never too late to invest in one, get it engraved with something funny, and then hope somebody asks if anybody has a light, so you can show it off the funny engraving you got on it. Like Jessica Rabbit that says, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn
I
this way," or something.
I think I used to have one. I think I used to have one.
Now, guys, watching this episode, there was some stuff that really pulled me in almost to the point where I was like just lost in the story. And maybe I got a little too lost in it because I found it profoundly upsetting when Livio shot himself in the head. And I'm just curious, like, how did you guys take it? Or did it just seem like par for the course? It just seemed jarring to me, man. It was just upsetting because I was so in the moment. I did not see him like being, feeling so much pain. He would like do that to himself. It just kind of hurt.
Yeah, I would say, like, for me, that was the signal. Like, that's the absolute death knell for any comedy in this
Yeah.
version. When you have a guy blow his brains out on, like that's, you can't turn around and be like, oh, ha ha ha, like the next thing. Like, that's it. Like, it's
I mean,
done. So
I watch it on Crunchyroll, so I don't notice. But if anybody watches it on Hulu, do you know if it's like TVMA? Because this has to be TVMA with something that gruesome.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah.
yeah, so like that, to me, that's what stood out for me, was that I was just immediately thinking, well, there's they pretty much gone down that path this whole time, but that was like, there's not going to be any there's no comedic angle at all. Like, you can't come back from that. So, like, to me, that's what stood out about that moment to me, is that any hope that there's going to be some fun stuff is dead. It's done.
And you know how Attack on Titan has some pretty notorious moments where it just gets upsetting. It gets a little too real, a little upsetting. And this was right up there. I would put that Livio, the way it was drawn, the way it went down, just how emotional it felt. I'd put that right there as upsetting as anything on Attack on Titan. It was right up there with the mom chomp, which I think you, for one, Matthew, you know how much the mom chomp got me. Oh, great reenactment. That should be your your new shtick, is the mom chomp.
I was about to say something about that, and then I was like, no, that could be misconstrued
Uh-oh.
very, very wrong. So I'm just going to leave it in my head. But it would have been a funny comment, but then totally would have been able to be misconstrued. So
It
I'm
could
just
have
going to keep it to
changed your
myself.
whole trajectory of the week, man.
Yeah, like that, 100%, 100%. So I'm keeping it to myself, but it was a really good comment. Trust me, you guys would have liked it.
Yeah, everybody just laughed naughtily. Is naughtily even an adverb? I don't know. So, Matthew, did I hear that the sort of supervillain name for Livio was Two Fang?
Double Fang.
Double Fang, that was
Exactly.
it. I was thinking Two Fang. I say, did I hear? But I read subtitles, so
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
excuse for me to hear it wrong.
Yep.
I just didn't remember it properly.
Yep.
I,
Livio
I
the Double Fang is what he's known as.
I love that Double Fang, man, with the two guns. It just kind of makes sense. Did he have
Yeah.
fangs too that I missed? Was he like snake-like in any form?
Well, no, but bullets have a bite to them.
Oh, Yeah,
And actually, if we go back to our if they were vampires conversation from either last episode or the one before,
yes.
maybe.
Oh, that gives a whole new spin to the vampire theory that I have.
Um,
Okay, all YouTube channels have to have some crazy theories to be popular, and you get people to buy into the theories, and that's how they start watching. So we got to come up with the crazy Trigun Stampede. Everybody's a vampire theory. Like by the end of the season, we have to be convinced that every single character is a vampire. Can we do that?
yeah, and the humans are using the vampires for power. Like it makes perfect sense.
Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that, okay? So, we have the big reveal about the nature of Vash as a plant. And, I wasn't sure how common that knowledge was before this, so I tried to stay away from spoiling that too much. I even reversed the audio in one of our first videos there, Matthew, when you mentioned that he was a plant, so we wouldn't let it out of the bag. But now that it's out of the bag, I have to ask your guys' interpretation of these events. And first off, do you think that humans, pretty much it's common knowledge among humans that plants are living beings, or do they think they're machines?
Après-vous, Chris?
If I had to say, I'd say that they don't realize that they're living beings, especially ones that can take humanoid form. I would be very surprised if they knew that. But yeah, I definitely would say I would lean to say that they're not most. I'm sure some of them do. Obviously, some humans do, but I'd say like the run of the mill townsfolk, they don't know. They just think it's a power plant.
Because exactly how much humans know really goes a long way to affect how I feel about this whole dynamic. Because I can see a very real situation that I'm starting to head to mentally, where I'm thinking of this relationship between Knives and Vash, almost like Magneto and Professor X. And if the humans know what the plants are and they're still kind of making some of the decisions that they're making, then I start to think Knives was right. And, I'm pretty famous in my Marvel fandom as being known that I say Magneto is right all along. So now I'm starting to think, am I going to totally change where I stand on all this compared to the original Trigun after watching Trigun Stampede? Has this show got enough depth to make me switch my point of view on the human-plant relationship?
I'm going to say this. Please don't compare it to the X-Men, because if that's the case, then I want them all dead.
Uh-oh.
Like,
well, we have to go 10,000 years in the future first, and then we got to do the House of X.
yeah, but just get rid of all of them. Just can't where's Scarlet Witch to snap them all out of existence? That's what we need.
Well, she did that once before. So
yeah, she needs to do it again. All right.
Matthew, anything else to say about the X-Men?
Nope.
Are you buying it? Are you smelling what I'm stepping in with Professor X and Magneto comparison?
I do, and we're really going to see just how Wolverine-like Livio's healing ability is, aren't we?
Oh, we did. It felt a lot like Deadpool to me, watching them have their gunfights where they're just shooting each other in the chest and healing up. It was like Deadpool versus Deadpool. Did you get that vibe, Chris?
Yeah, because just the fact that that Wolfwood just pops his magic medicine and he's like, oh, I've just got shot 37 times, I'm good.
Yes.
you know what you're kind of looking at. So, and then you knew that it wasn't going to be the end of Livio when they're like, go get Double Fang. So you knew that. Because they wouldn't just pick up a corpse for no reason if they were,
Yeah, it did kind of undercut the disturbing nature of him shooting himself, but I also kind of needed that balm to be put on my wound, I think, too, because like I said, it really got me a little bit off guard. Like I almost could have used a little bit of a trigger warning before that one. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Matthew? A balm, a little salve to help the wound.
Yeah, somewhat.
So you're in the team then. You think we're going to see him again? Will he be further modified? I think he'll look like a Darth Vader modification or something.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be like a whole different person.
Okay, Chris. Here's a question. I thought this is a good question for Chris, and I put it in here because I want to be curious on how you feel about it. But do you think Wolfwood and Vash have a little bit of an Apollo and Midnighter dynamic?
No. No, I don't think that dynamic. Apollo and
Because Vash would be Apollo, right? Because
I mean, if you look at if you play
Nicholas
off
is going to
the
be Midnighter.
if you play off the light and dark, I mean, hold on. I guess I should say, like, where are we going with this? Like, if we're going off the light and the dark, but they team up together, one's more violent, one tries to,
Yes,
then
we're going with like the Batman and Superman, and they get married.
Yeah, I don't see that last part. I don't really see that being them getting married. I don't think it's
Because it could be like the whole opposites attract kind of thing.
that I don't really that's the part of this comparison that I don't think is gonna like work out the same. Like, but like like if we go light to dark, yeah, you could say Vash is the light because of his positivity and his hope and his wanting to kind of not kill people. And the darkness and Midnighter, that's Wolfwood, like he said, sometimes you got to kill people to make good things happen, and we've seen he's had no qualms about killing people. So that, yes, the light and the dark, the Apollo is always a positive character, even when like he's been in some bad situations. He's always positive, and Midnighter's always like, I'm going to tear the world apart to get to Apollo, because it's usually Midnighter saving Apollo, even though Apollo is like basically a sun god, and
that's the conceit of it. Is the one who needs more protection is the one who is more protective in the relationship. You know what I mean? It's just it's the conceit of the relationship.
So like, I mean, I guess in a lot of ways, yes, you can kind of see that kind of a situation, except for the biggest conceit of the whole thing, which is that they're partners and married.
Yeah.
So I don't see Vash and Wolfwood tying the knot. I could be wrong. I didn't read the manga. So maybe
there's not that many fish in this sea, Chris. I mean, look around here. There's not a whole lot of people to choose from.
Meryl? Come on. Hey, Meryl. He's got he's got Millie undercover as Roberto De Niro.
He's waiting for Millie to show up. That's right. Once Millie shows up, it becomes a love triangle.
Yeah. Yeah, so I see on most of that. Yes, I agree with you. I do feel like in a lot of ways, yeah, there's that relationship. It's the same as like almost like a Batman Superman kind of deal, yes. like you mentioned. I'd say it's probably more of a Batman Superman kind of a deal than a Midnighter and Apollo, just because there's a reason like that Midnighter and Apollo are the way they are, because they're basically the Batman and the Superman that are, married. Like that's
the point. Yeah. So this is the episode. Once again, we get the reveal that Vash is a plant. Are you okay, Matthew? Did we get you laughing too hard by spending 6 to 7 minutes talking about how Vash? Did you not know Chris and I do this kind of thing?
I'm sorry.
Take something that we both say is ridiculous and then discuss it like it's legitimate. And that's what we do for 6 minutes. Yes.
I just wanted to get it out there. I don't know how much Trigun art you guys have seen on Twitter, but
God. I don't even want to know, because I have a feeling I know where this is going.
I got a new idea for some t-shirts now, Matthew, for the three of us that'll match. So we get the reveal. What did you think, Matthew? What did you think about the scene that gives us the reveal that Vash is a plant, the way that they drew it and depicted it? What did you think?
It wasn't what I wanted, but it was nice.
What would you have liked? You said it wasn't what you wanted. I'm curious to hear what you maybe pictured in your mind's eye.
I wanted my angel boy Vash from the manga.
That's what I wanted. You wanted pure on angel. You know what? We still might get that image though.
We might get it next episode.
But I did like the lighting. I like the superimposed marks. I like the way that Meryl reacted to it. I thought it was a really pleasant scene, but it also felt not like it didn't feel as climactic or like as much of a reveal. I guess, like you said, if we'd had a more pizzazz with the reveal, this was a little more subtle. What would you think, Chris?
Yeah, you know what? I like pizzazz. There's nothing wrong with like a lot of pizzazz. So hey, we could have. Probably could have done with a little more pizzazz, but I mean, otherwise, I mean, I think it was okay.
Is everybody going to start treating Vash differently?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And also be a bit relieved to finally have some mystery answered.
Well, no review is complete without asking Matthew, did you cry this episode?
I think that was the time I did.
The reveal?
It was either that or more Olivio flashbacks.
Okay, because I think...
Speaking of the Livio flashbacks, I did again like how they did that when they were kind of flashing back, and it was traditional animation style, and you could definitely pick it out of
yes,
because it felt like a memory. It looked like a memory. I like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's beautiful. And I have a question for both of you.
Yes.
This is the part that I've so far loved seeing reaction videos. What did you two think of Zazie the Beast going? Ah.
I wasn't a fan. Yeah, it grossed me out a little bit. How did you take it, Chris?
Well, it definitely didn't make me hungry. I wasn't hungry after that, but I mean, yeah, it was pretty gross.
It's kind of like a big cat hairball, but then when you know what it is, those things they call worms that look like dragonflies.
Yeah.
And but it's Zazie Beats. What are you going to do? She can do what she wants.
I loved it.
Did you cry at all this episode, Chris?
No.
All right. Well, some things never change. 7 episodes, still no Millie, but I'm feeling it. She's getting closer, guys. I know she's getting closer.
Hey,
I'm
she's
proud
been
of
here
you
all along. She's been here all along.
I'm proud of you for watching anime, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. It really means a lot to me. If you might be interested in Patreon perks like early access to videos, uncut reaction videos, ad-free videos, and the opportunity to vote on which anime will be covered in the future, then click on the link in the video description. Thank you.